coaster kept going up. I want to see like
But question for you fools, was it more like a roller coaster? Because I know we all think of roller coasters up and down, but really if you think about the first part of a roller coaster, you spend a lot of time waiting. You're just going up and up and up, and you're looking to the sides, you see a bird pass by, and all of a sudden, you go straight down, 2 kills a minute, and then we have the end of the game at 30 minutes. Yeah.
I mean, honestly, the suspense that gets built up from the initial roller coaster part, that's low-key the best part for all the roller coaster riders out there. They know what I'm talking about. Like, oh no, it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. But I just like the fact that we know that the roller coaster is gonna start at some point.
I mean, we're on it right now.
Yeah,
like we're literally bought
absolutely.
tickets and sat in the seats. We just have to win. It's like going into a roller coaster blind and just having the thing pulled off as you go down the first turn and figure out what
we don't know the track at all. We have no idea. There might be a loop. There might be
It was a Nautilus instead of a Renata. I bet he wants Renata. I bet he wants Renata.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty sus, man. I mean, it could be a really, really clever play to react like that. So now the opponents ban Renata when you didn't. But I mean,
the mind games, man.
Don't think we're doing any gaslighting on stage right now. I think we're just Fengyue, a bit of a rookie mistake happens, all good. And now we get to find out what was really going on there, if Renata is in the question at all. Supposedly,
where did Renata come from?
Not quite. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, typically you don't want to pair the Varus with the Renata because typically you want to be the poke Varus really good nowadays. And so, I even saw, what was it? I think it was, there was somebody who went, it was in the LCK. Somebody went on hit Varus instead of poke Varus because they had a Renata. So it's like you can get mind controlled into going the wrong Varus build. So I think he was just
the Shen.
Cognizant of that.
Okay, Cube. We get the Shen coming in, so pulling back a little bit of that kind of teamwork that we were looking for from both sides.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was just hovering. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, is he gonna lock that in? I mean, low key, it's pretty good. Enemy team has a lot of engage tools. You can really save some lot. Oh,
the Shen support.
Now it makes sense in my head. I'm thinking like, why are we blind picking Shen? That's why. It's not a blind pick at all, man. Shen is really good into Leona because Leona's most overpowered spell is the Q. It's like the lowest cooldown ever. You just keep popping him with the shield and stun him. Well, guess what? You pop the Shen W, that counts as an attack. You're fully immune to being stunned by Leona Q. So really good matchup down there. And that's going to help them have an easier time staying alive against this aggressive team comp from top.
I don't know if the aggression is going to stop. Gnar gets locked in for the big moments for 369, and it's also a comfort for him that WE had banned away earlier on in the series. Now he's going to be facing off against Cube's Scion, and that's going to be an important matchup to Levy for Top Esports, who at this point, we've swapped places once again for a game 3. It is all about beefy team fighting for WE. It's all about mechanical execution for Top Esports.
Oh yeah, we are going back and forth with this pattern right now about which team has the onus on them to really perform and be the team that creates the leads for themselves. That's going to be Top Esports this game. They're going to need to create some advantages. They've definitely got the tools to do so with the Kiana, with the Leona, even with the Aurora being able to generate some moves into the side lane. Of course, Talia with the Weaver's Wall, going to be kind of the apex roamer when it comes to that semi-global ability. But with the Shen as well, you might keep that in mind. The Shen, Talia, next thing you know, you got a sudden 2-man disadvantage.
Shalia combo will be incredible, as I do expect that to be a forward piece for WE, and again giving themselves some ease of execution. Just throw your bodies in there and be able to make the difference there. But I guess when we're looking at the grand scheme of things, is that scaling enough for this WE team to kind of turtle and wait for those item completions, wait for those big objectives to fight?
It's so hard to know. I mean, I think in theory it very well could be, but it's just all going to come down to this early game. You know, I have a feeling we might be... Okay, so there's 2 ways this can go. Either it's going to be very similar to last game where we might get 1 kill this time, not 0 in the first 12 minutes. And then the roller coaster is going to start, or we might just have a roller coaster all game. But as far as I'm concerned, there will be a roller coaster this match.
We haven't gotten in. I hope everybody has their seatbelts on, as it should be a grand ride. we're getting into this game. 3. We heard some quiet Giles.
Yeah, we got some faint Giles there. I like that. Yeah, we got some enthusiasm tonight, and we're gonna need all the energy we can get to survive this 10-game evening. So
Connected on to about there. JiaQi trying to get ramped up with the early heals. That's something we talked about in that game number 1. Using that early summoner spell to try to get some extra damage down. Now Yaoyao taking a brunt of damage. Is going to burn the flash. JiaQi will burn his as well. So that'll be a big flash down for an ADC, but at least the push will be there for top esports.
Yeah, I mean, the Shen is supposed to be the counter pick into the lead.
Look at this. Oh, NaiYou. He finally finds
ward.
out. Yeah,
Wow.
he does end up getting that vision, and Monki will be found trying to get an early invade into NaiYou's jungle.
I mean, that's honestly really good for NaiYou, and just the sheer mind-reading ability to ward that bush is honestly crazy and impressive, because that just saved the entire early game. Remember, I gave you 2 options if we're going to do the slow incline to the roller coaster, or if we're just going to jump right into it. That ward from NaiYou really slowed down the pace of this early game. It meant that the aggression out of Monki just gets completely stifled there.
Do like the cheeky little gank timer, though, as he will redeploy back onto the map. Same with the other side of things for NaiYou. And we'll have everything kind of going right as rain for either side. Did have that split of the map for themselves, but looking into these early moments, I feel like both games so far haven't necessarily been decided by the early games, but the tempo of the game has varied so much. I think we're going to get a little bit more of what we got in game number 2 for now.
Yeah, I totally agree, because even if one of the teams does generate a bit of a lead for themselves, we've seen that the team on the back foot is just fully able. Being forced to flash from that seismic shove, barely clipping him there. That's going to complicate NaiYou's job of securing this crab. That might enable Monki to configure this CS lead that NaiYou has, because after that invade being stopped in its tracks by NaiYou, Monki has had a hard time being able to clear his camps in a very efficient way. But now it's going to be really convenient. He gets the top crab into his remaining top side, and somehow Monki is fully caught back up.
True, and I thought for a second he was going to go for the cute little flash play on the Creme, but going to save that one, and now he has the flash advantage. Potentially be able to look for a play further on. Monki has been the more proactive one in this series so far between the two, and it's definitely sticking to his namesake as the aggressive jungler of the top of the table of Perseverance, at least. And I think the biggest factor so far has been how many of those ganks actually stick, and I think it will continue to be so in this one, as a small lead has been developed by top esports in the early game. Nothing to write home about, at least, but we do have that dragon coming up in about a minute, and we have seen the dragon maybe wait around a little bit. Do you think that's still going to be the case here in this game 3?
Yeah, in order to take the Drakes, you really need to have really good conditions across the map. You need to have probably a mid lane and bot lane who's able to have some sort of wave pushing priority. You need to have some sort of good DPS on it, so maybe you can have a window where a bout could hit the Drake, for example, or JiaQi, because typically soloing the Drakes can be pretty difficult because the enemy team can just come contest at any time. So it's more of a team play, and it's pretty difficult to do without, really getting some good items under your belt first. So we'll see if WE is able to fix this wave state, by the way, because this is really favorable for top esports.
Tough to play into. Tough to get the advantage going if you want it, as we will get a little visit from both junglers down towards bot side.
Yeah, they have pretty synced up timings here, so they should know that the other is in the area. And given that, I don't expect to see any fighting here. But since this is the LPL, they might just fight anyway.
Vision. Oh, Monki completed his back there, even though they saw that NaiYou was there. The instant back pedal from the WE bot lane will signal their safety, and that will be a move from NaiYou back up towards the river and back out of these fights here. Didn't think they want to go for the dragon. They won't do so just yet.
Karis in a really vulnerable position. I don't know if they know about Monki.
Got the Weaver's Wall available. They didn't know about Monki. Well, they knew about NaiYou, and that'll be a big pick here as Karis gets first blood for WE. A little bit of a rebuttal from Creme, but not nearly enough. And Now it's going to be Monki, who is looking for an invade onto the top side.
Yeah, I want to cast our minds back to when Monki finished his recall, even with NaiYou showing on that ward. It was a really high conviction play out of Monki to finish the recall and then immediately path towards Karis, and he just had NaiYou's number there.
A tough moment, and brings us back to the reason why this squishier jungle might not be the play, as Monki will not find the execution on the flag and drag. Karis will have to back away. Doesn't have TP, but does have the Weezer's wall. He wants to get back out the lane pretty quickly. And both junglers will go back to their jungles themselves. And they'll be getting level 6s here soon. Zenith Blade going a little bit wide there from Fengyue. But it's the level 6 point that I really want to bring up next, because we'll have both objectives coming up. We have about a minute and 20 for that grub, but the dragons are still up. Which side has those favorable ult combos, though?
Yeah, it appears pretty difficult to even start this Drake up as either team. I feel like just for whatever reason, the Grubs is a lot more practical. You can just kind of take one or two at a time. But if anything, Top Esports could start the Drake up on this level 6 timer for NaiYou. Their ults could be really favorable. I know that JiaQi and Fengyue have a pretty good amount of XP, Fengyue being much closer to 6 than Yaoyao. I think that could be the angle. Try and get this Leona to 6 before this Shen and really fight on that timer.
Threat of the move pushed NaiYou back, and now Creme's gonna get Cataclysm to death. A second kill for Karis.
Yeah, Karis gonna have a lot of ability to carry this game now with this 2 kills into this big lead in the mid lane. That's about a 700 gold lead for the side of Karis here, but it doesn't necessarily net them any objectives. So I just want to keep that in mind, that as much as it is a really nice kill to get, it's not going to change things all too much.
You wanted to try to get the old combo at the last second there, but doesn't find it. But the other thing you got to think about here, and this is putting a big spotlight on Karis, is think of how many dashes. Every single character on Top Esports has a dash, has some kind of mobility movement, and that ground is going to be hell to pay for the entirety of Top Esports. So if Karis is ahead, you got to expect the setup around these objectives is going to be that much tougher, because if you try to dash in, if you try to get an engage as Top Esports, you're going to be stopped in your tracks.
I mean, I'm glad you bring that up, because that just means Karis' lead is just going to be that much more impactful, because as you said, Talia's E is just such a good spell this game, and if Talia is just extremely accelerated, that's just going to make things even more difficult for all these dashers.
Going to try to punish him here. Nice seismic shove in. They do still have 3 members strong, and the damage to back it up. Karis goes down. There's going to be a counterplay. Oh, Yaoyao misses the drag, or at least the Monki flag and drag misses as well, but Yaoyao's charge does end up missing as well. They won't find the play they wanted. They're going to look for a little bit of plates on the bot side, but they'll be down here for a long while and potentially setting up for Top Esports to come reinforce, as Fengyue is going to have to flash over the wall to get away.
Yeah, and the thing with League of Legends games is you attack on one side, you expose yourself on another. Sure, Top Esports get to play in mid, but now their bot lane
Zenith
needs
Blade
some
connects
answers.
onto a bout. That's going to be the cleanse burn. They're just burning all damage onto Creme, and without that transition, there is no extra strength down here towards this bot side. It's going to be a combination now. Karis coming over with the Weaver's Wall. This could be a 4v2 in the end, and nobody is nearby to help. They have been left on an island, and they're about to starve, taking poke damage, and it didn't even matter. They didn't even need any extra filling. That's going to be WE making a counterplay after counterplay on the bot side. They're going to kill Fengyue right before the TP even gets there, and NaiYou has to walk away.
Yeah, Creme cannot answer this at all. He can just pick up the farm left under the tower. And honestly, I think 369 made the right choice of not TPing down there. That play was a lost cause. And honestly, JiaQi dying as soon as he could, probably for the best. I don't think you're ever surviving or trading a kill there. So just really advantageous for WE. And I think this is all off of the back of that commitment onto that kill onto Karis. I mean, Karis could have definitely sidestepped that and lived, or he could have lived a little bit longer, with them committing in so deeply onto him. But you see that just left JiaQi completely isolated 1v3 in that bot lane. And then Top Esports tried to undo that problem and just made it worse. So as much as Karis did go down, the cost of the kill onto Karis was clearly not worth it.
Have to jump away from that seismic shove, getting a little bit closer to that one, as Grubs had been taken. But the big thing now is Dragon has been up for almost 6 minutes. That's going to be an objective that wants to start getting stacked up, especially with the start at a Cloud Dragon. There are a couple pings there from WE who are initiating the River Shen technology as Yaoyao just hits the magic button and becomes insanely valuable. But we'll see now that Top Esports are moving back out onto the Rift to try to get a play going.
Yeah, you know, both teams want this Drake. The way Fengyue is playing right now, it looks like he could just pop the Solar Flare at any moment. Thankfully, he did not do that because Monki is so nearby. But gosh, I can only imagine that WE is going to end up securing this Drake because they're just quite ahead in terms of the itemization. But then again, I know that these ultis from top can put in some crazy work with NaiYou having his items, same with Creme.
Oh, but if NaiYou gets caught out, that's not going to be a ticket, as he does go invisible. Nicely used with that extra dash. Karis is trying to find a little latent seismic shove. Doesn't have it now, though, and his team is getting engaged on. Would want to have that cooldown. Chains of Corruption does come through, though, and About is starting to work some damage into there. Big Supreme display of talent around the Cataclysm, but he used it, and it didn't matter in the end. JiaQi is starting to fire away the flash from About to try to get the Q, and it's going to be Monki that slams him down. Creme now looking for the redemption plays here for Top Esports, but it's going to be a double kill that came through for WE. Some extra gold to About, and the Dragon that still survived.
Yeah, I mean, it looked really good for WE, but it actually wasn't that good. I mean, they don't get the Drake. Creme gets to have free reign of this mid lane now, completely taking over this matchup just because. And yeah, it's an interesting engage onto the Jarvan here, answered really quickly with Yaoyao's flash. Completely going in, trying to one-shot NaiYou before the Supreme display of talent. Unfortunately, the Cataclysm increasing the Supreme display of talent's range there. And JiaQi versus About. Thankfully, JiaQi levels up here because that was ugly, but they both go down. Here we go again.
Out's starting to do some serious damage right now, and had a lot of hand in that last fight as NaiYou's flashing away from the hail of arrows. Karis is the one that gets engaged on now by JiaQi and co. Meanwhile, Monki's looking for his own solo kills still in this fight, but Top Esports have surrounded WE, and About is going to be surrounded now as well, as that's going to be Solar Flare coming down. That's going a little bit wide. NaiYou goes down, but it'll be a couple quick kills going to JiaQi.
I just have no words, man. I mean, the fighting will just not stop by any means necessary, and neither team is going to get the Drake yet again. I mean, this time, though, we did have a clear winner. As for the result of that fight, Top Esports coming away with a really advantageous result. That's going to put them in a prime spot to start carrying this game, because this Gnar, slowly but steadily, has been building a huge lead over the Scion, which, as a matter of fact, is pretty much equivalent to the whole entire gold lead that Top Esports now has. But just you wait till Gnar enter these fights. But yeah, I think WE maybe going just a bit too fast here. They've got no Shen ult, and they're just Talia ulting straight in. Unfortunately, he's spawning directly on top of NaiYou, who's able to, really well played here, buy his distance that way to escape. And now with NaiYou not being dead, they're all just kind of circulated and surrounded like sharks, and they just get taken out one by one. It's impressive they even traded a kill back here, I'm not gonna lie.
Bout's doing some serious work here. I think in that other fight, if he had been able to hit a couple more abilities there, unfortunately he would have maybe made the difference and not found himself at this point. But it is going to be Top Esports continuing to snowball as they have all 5 quests completed. We're still waiting on 3, at least 2 now, that Monki has completed his from WE. That Dragon will finally fall 14 minutes and 45 seconds in. Monki is overextended once again. That's the instant flash Solar Flare by Fengyue, but I don't think they have the damage to follow it up, and now Fengyue will just die for it. Another piercing arrow, big combo comes through. Monki does try to go for the follow-up, but it's just picks and takes over and over again.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just a bit baffled that Fengyue really saw something there. That's why I had to react the way I did, because that did not seem to have the most promise to it. But I mean, you gotta respect someone who's got some sort of a killer instinct to be willing to flash in like that. You just kind of gotta, how can I explain it? You just gotta make sure that that killer instinct is under control. You know, you don't want to be flashing forward when it's not a good time.
Oh, About That's the Supreme Display of Talent going to be dodged out of now. They still have a lot of damage to put onto About. About falls to Creme as he goes between worlds and becomes another beast, as now it's going to be a big unstoppable onslaught onto the backline for Cube. He is tanking a decent amount as Monki comes in and gets 369. That's a big power tool down. WE still trying to move in, but zombie mode Cube is about to fall. Fengyue getting low but not going down. He's still alive, not going down just yet, and a double kill comes across for JiaQi, and top esports continue to balloon.
I mean, this is the most LPL game I've ever seen. This is just awesome, incredible stuff. They just will not stop fighting no matter what. I'm pretty sure Rift Herald wins this, by the way. He's able to outplay the Rift Herald. But yeah, I mean, that is really, really just encapsulating of what this series is all about. Just fight on any given ground and just hope that the fight favors you. Unfortunately, the fight is not advantageous whatsoever for the side of WE. Just because you dodge that Kiana ult, well, that's not going to save you, man. You're in the middle of their whole team just running as fast as you can. You cannot build nearly enough distance with 369 threatening that pincer there. And they almost have something here on this sort of 3v5. They're able to take with Yaoyao kind of just being there too, but unfortunately Karis not quite hitting the spells he needs to trade back some of those kills. Yeah. And it's those kind of things that can really add up over time.
And can I also just say, like, finally we get an attack damage ADC attack speed monster carry for JiaQi, and he is popping off. 6-2 now on the Yunara. He went from the Jhin to that big piece on the, yes, Misfortune Comfort for him, but giving him these mechanical ADs and letting him prove his worth here. So far in game number 3, it's going swimmingly.
I mean, that's such a good point. They've just kind of gate-kept him on those utility ADs. It feels like with the Jhin and the MF, he's finally on one of those high DPM hyper carries. Going to give him all the opportunity he needs to prove what he's made of and carry. But we can't see it right now. We can for a moment there, but Creme's inventory, the next chance we get to take a look at it, I want you to tell me what you think, okay?
What's wrong here? He's got the match eyes. I like that.
You like that? I like that a lot.
10 stacks.
I think that says that he's a Giga Chad ready to prove that he belongs in the group ascent.
Oh, Cube getting chased down. Gets the Supreme Display of Talent out of NaiYou. He's still so damn tanky, and NaiYou actually has to retreat as the Stand United comes down. And WE save their top laner.
Yeah, saving the top laner at the price of the Stand United is a pretty hefty cost to pay, but it's better than nothing because you do have a lot of tempo into this top side now. You can see Talia Jarvan. I suppose Monki was able to...
He tried to flag and drag, kill the back with the eye, but then he got knocked up as he came in. That's actually hilarious.
Honestly, pretty forgivable if you ask me as far as mistakes go. It looked like it could have worked low-key, but sometimes you can make inputs, but the game is just going to give you outputs. That output with the Rift Herald knocking him up was not quite what he had in mind, so unfortunately, he's going to have to burn the flash. And we can't really afford mistakes like that. That's the other thing, because with this 5K gold lead and growing, we need to find some kind of a good look here as WE. Thankfully, the Dragon stacking for top esports is well behind schedule.
Go about 30 seconds or less for that next one to come up. You can see WE trying to move some vision over to that side as well. They seem like they want to try to put up a fight. Karis is in top lane, does have TP and Weaver's Wall. You got to remember, the utility tools, the lockdown that WE has can still be lethal. They just got to be careful where these leads are, and Creme is just going to look for an outright kill onto About.
That's really good for
WE. Worlds.
That's definitely going to give them an opportunity to fight this. Talia pinging onto the top tower. Looks like he wants his team to buy him more time. It's really awkward because sometimes you don't get extra time, but you really want it. So let's see what Karis decides to do.
He needs to come try to join the fight. If they already got the Between Worlds coming through, I mean, the Dragon just freely goes over to top esports, and you get the rejoin from 369. No,
this is fine too, though.
WE, they do go for that side lane gold, try to chunk back some of this lead, and they do get the turret as well in the top lane.
Yeah, so in my head, it's really fine to be giving away objectives as long as you're getting something worth about the same, and they want more.
They go for the Weaver's Wall, and JiaQi will end up moving away from it. There'll be some more plates coming their way. Monkey's going to get slowed down by the solar flare, and now all in with the Supreme to play a talent. Although they do lose the front line, it's going to be Creme come to join the fight. He's not got Between Worlds just yet, but he's got a decent amount of damage now that he's got 2.5 items completed. It will still be WE who find the fight. 369 has finally joined as well, and he's just going to poke into the back of Cube. But Top Esports get caught with their hand in the cookie jar a little bit. Oh
yeah, I mean,
God, he does
Cube die here? He's taking a lot of damage, but I think those top lane quest shields are just so OP. I think if he didn't have that shield, he probably would have been pretty under some pressure of threat of dying there, but I think it was all good. I really like what Karis did on that last sequence, though. I will say, you know, why go for the contest? I know Aurora did just use Between Worlds, but the contest is still pretty difficult, all things considered. If they're giving you the uncontested top tower, you can just take it. Luckily, his whole team, this is why, of course, competitive league is so much easier, because the whole team knew not to go in and die, unlike my solo queue teammates when I'm in the side lane. But that really enabled Karis to come ult towards this mid lane. You got JiaQi's flash. They got this mid tower really low. They've got a lot of promising aspects to the rest of this game now.
And I wanted to take a look at the item completions as well. You already have 3 items there for NaiYou, who has a small but steady lead, obviously with cheaper items going the Axiom Arc and the Serpent's Fang. But the Serpent's Fang is actually going to have decent value in this game with some of the shields that WE are going to be rocking. Big thing is, though, 369 with his massive lead has just now taken a fight into a 1v3, potentially a 1v4. He'll be fine for now, but he is also on 2 items, and the carries are starting to come online for Top Esports in a big way.
Yeah, I mean, 369 did develop a big lead for himself, but Cube just being Scion, just going to be so useful regardless. Extremely tanky, the most powerful frontliner it feels like that they could possibly have. And that's going to be really awkward for Creme and NaiYou. You literally cannot kill Cube as Creme and NaiYou, it feels like. So they're going to need JiaQi to do so. Well, luckily, WE has a lot of ways to get on top of JiaQi.
JiaQi, though, he's completed 3rd item now. He just finished the Lord Doms. That tankiness not going to stand for very long from the side of WE if he plays his cards right. And especially with the activation of the Transcend oneself with those bolts, it's going to be incredibly dangerous for WE to miss position. There was a little bit of a attempted play by Top Esports on the bot side. Not going to end up finding Karis, as he did have to burn the Weaver's Wall out. Luckily, About has also crested into 3 items with the Shrelia's Grudge. It's going to give him a little bit more poke pressure.
What I will say, this Serpent's Fang for NaiYou is going to get crazy value this game.
It's so value, yeah.
Oh, insane. Like, you remember those shields that Cube was generating with his TP?
Yep.
Those are going to be cut in half. Not to mention, enemy team has Shen. So all those Stand Uniteds, you're pretty much always going to want to use Stand United against Qiyana anyway. Like, when Qiyana's one-shotting one of your teammates, that's typically when you want to Shen ult. So it's really convenient to be able to cut their shield before it even comes in.
It's actually so huge. And the shields from Jarvan are also no slouch, especially once he starts leveling those up. So it's some real value there from that item pickup from NaiYou. But we're getting closer and closer to the next dragon. It's been 2 in a row for Top Esports, working on a 3rd if they do get this one. That would put them at Soul Point. Does WE have time to give? Do they just allow this dragon to go over and force themselves to fight in 5 minutes, Foles?
Well, I would say if you're giving, you want to be taking something, and they need to set themselves up to do so. Maybe the top lane tower, maybe the mid lane tower, or what you can do is some sort of a soft contest where you're in the area, you just kind of poke and prod, look for spells. You do have Varus, so you might be able to chunk somebody out like NaiYou or Creme, and then find a way in from that. But you need to get something. You can't just give and take nothing.
369 just lost Mega. They did end up getting the Stand United from Yaoyao, so that tool will not be there for this fight, but they wanted to try to find a pick on the mini Gnar. Now Dragon spawning in 15 seconds, some tools down, but a lot available for Top Esports.
Yeah, Top has everything they need to steamroll this next fight. You have to be so careful as WE walking this far forward.
It's like Monki just wants to take the engage. They go straight on to Fengyue, who flashes away from the sides of shove. It's going to be the Between Worlds from Creme, going back and forth. Monki goes for the Cataclysm, but it gets instantly pounced on. JiaQi is starting to rip through as 369 finds the back line. He's not Mega, but he's going to try to go for it now. He's trying to get Yaoyao, but he's trying to peel back for the rest of his team. He goes for Karis and just gets the guaranteed kill. Meanwhile, you get a snipe coming through from about. He's able to get one there, but Top Esports will back away. Dragon is still alive, but it is blood on the battlefield as 369 goes for the flank.
So close from Karis to be able to kill one of those backliners there. I think he was like 1 HP from killing NaiYou. Doesn't quite get it. That's a really big deal because that would have enabled them to most likely secure the Drake. I know that this Gnar is up 3,000 gold and extremely threatening, but if you have the numbers, you can probably make something happen there. We're going to have Shen ult come up off cooldown. I'm pretty sure this whole game, the Shen ult hasn't been visually indicating when it's on cooldown. I would imagine it's coming up off cooldown pretty soon here. You can't really contest this, unfortunately. He might be able to get some kills on the back half, though.
Put some bodies in here. It's going to be taken by NaiYou and Fengyue. I think might be
Monki?
the sacrificial lamb. A little bit of disconnect here between the team because Top Esports wanted to leave and then they don't get out. Monki gets obliterated by the combo, the solo laners, and meanwhile JiaQi is trying to make his highlight play and posterize about. About does get out with the flash, but now JiaQi can lay waste to the rest of his team. No ADC in sight for WE means all for naught as Top Esports wipe the floor with them and they go straight to the Baron.
Super, super aggressive from the side of WE. I mean, I can almost see it, but I think Monki portaling in was just a one-way ticket. I'm not gonna lie. I think as soon as you take that portal in that fashion, you're not coming back. So
it's JiaQi love here, bro. He just pops off on about.
Oh yeah, JiaQi Love is the new JiaQi Love. I mean, I swear, he is doing really well for himself this game. He finds his 1v1 onto a bout in the backside of that fight.
Oh no!
Uh-oh.
It's come back in and WE have lost more bodies. About falls in the Baron pit almost, losing Baron over to Top Esports, and they start to propel this lead to almost 10,000 gold 27 minutes in.
Yeah, the gold lead was like 5,000 even though the kills were even, and it felt like the game state was honestly relatively even. Like, you saw how close Karis was to killing some of those backliners there, and that would have been really advantageous 2 fights ago, but that's 2 fights ago, Mazel. The past couple fights have just gone absolutely convincingly in the fashion of Top Esports. They're everything they need to secure this win now and bring us to the match point from down 0-1 at the start.
And it's finally a performance worth being proud of, it feels like, in a lot of ways for JiaQi, and a guy who is fighting for a spot, who is that kind of temporary sub while they figure out what is going on with JiaQi Love and how long that break is going to be. And it's moments like this that give you hope for what he can be in the LPL, but it's the consistency that matters, and closing this game out with an 11,000 gold lead for Top Esports seems to be easy peasy as Monki almost gets killed in the mid lane as well. He has his GA up. He will reset here, but the siege will continue. And over almost 4,000 gold Baron power play, and 369 really wanted to go for a Mega Gnar ulti there. Doesn't end up finding it. Chains of Corruption going to rain across. A couple piercing arrows as well from about, but the siege should continue here as multiple members of Top Esports are backing off now, so maybe it doesn't.
Yeah, I really just like the comp from top. The Aurora Kiana, as seen here, do a lot of damage.
For it, Weaver's Wall coming in, uses the supreme display of talent expertly there to delay the inevitable, and WE are left wanting, honestly.
Yeah, and they've been left wanting for the longest time, it feels like, and I can't help but say it, but it just feels like Karis was so close to securing some of these kills and some of these fights. I think back to that fight at the Dragon, that fight at the Grubs. If Karis just aims his Q a little bit better, he wouldn't have about dying to Creme in one hit right now. The games, they would be so different, but unfortunately for WE, this is probably it.
It's not like About is a slouch. He was first in so many different stat categories at the end of the split. He was a potential prodigy, it felt like, for WE, but now they have just been laid waste across the entire.
Yunara is not even here, by the way.
It's going to be Top Esports looking to put the final nails in the coffin of this game. JiaQi is just trying to end the game at this point. He wants to come get a couple of kills here, though. He's got to transcend oneself, and he's looking to pop off. He's going to get one. He's going to go for two. He's going to help get a double kill for 369, who looks to finish the game. And Top Esports, seemingly awoken from their Game 1 slumber, will put us on a match point in our first best of 5.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go ahead and make a very overdue apology for the comments I may have made with respect to 369 and Cube. I'm not going to lie. In my head, for some reason, they were like comparable players. Like, let's say if 369 was S or A tier, the Cube would be A or B tier. They'd be like, you know, close enough. After what I've witnessed and after some of the enlightenments the community has given me, I've decided to retract that statement and say that 369 is levels above
There we
Cube.
go.
And that might be the same story for Top Esports compared to WE.
We appreciate it. I don't know what the number got to. We just recently had that like record-breaking gold differential in LEC. I think it was like 8.8 thousand gold for a single player. I'm pretty sure we got close. I think he was at like 6.6 or 7,000 gold individually. And yep, that'll happen. It is his Gnar. It is a comfort pick. It is something that WE did ban away earlier in the series. But when you start coming down to Fearless, when you start getting further into the games, you've played now, after this, more games than you've played so far in any series of the split. It's important to think about what all the options are, what those comforts are, especially for a veteran like him. And big props to JiaQi, who on a hyper carry shows just what he's got.
Yeah, so as much as I'm here praising 369, I do think JiaQi deserves the MVP. I think his performance was really good. He finally stepped it up. That's been one of the narratives we've been looking at this series is, can those tertiary players of Fengyue, JiaQi, and NaiYou really keep up with, you know, Creme and 369? And it's, to me, seemed like JiaQi was the one at the helm, steering the ship, doing all the damage he needed to do. And he was really gapping that bot lane down there. Even from level 1, the Shen counter pick was supposed to be a lot more, but you saw they were forced into these bad recalls, and all of these fights were going Yunara's way. I know that his damage numbers aren't necessarily going to reflect just how much he was carrying those fights, but, you know, because of course the VODS has so much poke and just does so much damage over the course of the game. But if you zoom in to some of those fights with the way JiaQi was playing, which I'm looking forward to seeing in some of these clips, he's my MVP this game.
Yeah, I absolutely think so, and we'll be getting those clips here soon. And I hate to you know, beat a dead horse, I guess, but it's been troubling for WE in a lot of ways in terms of how they approach some of these fights. I think Game 1 was an awesome kind of ante to that in some ways, but you see in this situation like Monki overextending so many times. So, like, I want to kind of go back to the investigation that we have and see the spacing he had away from his teammates, because it's tough to watch in these situations because it feels like their comp has some serious things going for it, but the disconnects just keep happening.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. When we saw some of those Monki focus points about how he can just sort of be on a disconnect from his team, I think back to when he took that portal, and I was just thinking, like, Monki? Like, are we sure about that? This is the exact kind of example that falls right in line with that pattern that you had noticed at the start of the series. And I really think that a lot of this has to do with the draft. But before we get into that, I just want to spotlight JiaQi and some of the fights he was having this game. He wasn't necessarily in this fight. Luckily, his team was able to do really well for themselves. Kiana getting the ult off on 1 HP, making a huge difference. But yeah, JiaQi, it looked like he was behind, but he was able to survive and withstand a lot of the difficult parts of this game. That was the only bad fight they had all game. As of then on, everything started to favor Top Esports. Starting with this fight, JiaQi comes in, he's level 8, and he does a lot of damage, and nobody's touching him the whole time. He's just able to just be completely unbothered in his element, and it felt like as of this moment, the rest of the game was all his.
Yeah, and in those kinds of situations, you want to be able to, you know, confidently give that respect over, or at least give that mantle over. It was really nice to see. Little shout out to NaiYou, who had some up and down moments, but actually had some consistent engages that made the difference. I think a lot of his kind of peel ults to the engage of Monki were really nice. The use on his supreme display of talent on the Weaver's Wall, the Cataclysms, and kind of using their own space against them. I know it caught about multiple times, but this top esports team seemingly have, you know, picked up a gear or two here, and they went with a little bit of a higher executionary comp, but still found a way to do it.
Yeah, this play right here encapsulates that Monki narrative of him doing things he probably doesn't need to do. That was just a perfect example. Even if he can flag and drag over the wall after the portal, he was still essentially dead every time there. So that's just probably why it wasn't the best look. But I think back to that past fight, Karis just getting so close to taking out some of those people. But then we just get to the stage of the game where JiaQi can play and About can't. Clearly, he is not quite able to play the game the way he wants to once the Aurora is that fed. Look at some of the damage that Creme is doing to some of these members here. Definitely deserving some praise as well, the mid jungle of Creme NaiYou, but yeah, in my head, 369, JiaQi, great performances. Honestly, everybody performed really well. The only awkward timing was Fengyue flashing in like one time and just dying, but other than that, it was really beautiful from top esports.
Yeah, it truly was. I think this is top esports to be scared of. This is why they had this narrative coming into this series of, you know, this should be easy pickings for top esports, who were on a come up of some sort. In the second round robin. WE had kind of faltered towards the end, having lost their last two series, but now top esports seem to have gained control of this series, and we'll see if WE want to kind of wrestle that back from them with the chaos that we've seen in every game. I think it could happen at any time. We'll be getting to MVP here. I expect it to be JiaQi, and I do not want to see anybody else, but if it is, you know, it is what it is. 369 maybe deserves it. He was insanely ahead. Might be one of the single biggest gold differentials in lane, at least, that I've seen so far this split. So I guess it could go either way.
Yeah, honestly, some MVP performances, there's sometimes we get unsung heroes. And there we go. We get to sing his praises.
179 gold.
There you go.
Oh my
I think it's valid. I do. That was the first thought that came to my head. This guy had a 7K gold lead. I mean, again, sometimes the MVP is somebody who's not really as noticeable, you know? I mean, just because JiaQi was the one getting all the kills, 369 had a 7K gold lead. That kind of speaks for itself, if I'm going to be honest.
It truly does. That is going to be it for our third game. That means we are going for the first time past 3 games. We get 4 for our first series at least, and that's all we deserve here in the play-ins. I want to see it go to the distance. I want to see the chaos reign supreme, and we'll see if WE has it left in the tank after this break.